It wasn't meant to be a confrontation. It was supposed to be a message of peace. A flotilla of doctors, activists, journalists, and humanitarians sailing towards Gaza with food and medical aid. But within hours, that message was met with gunpoints, commanders, and arrests. And among those detained was Nelson Mandela's grandson, Nkosizwe Livelile Mandla Mandela. So what really happened out there on the open sea? Why was he even on board? And what does this mean for the already strained relationship between Israel and South Africa? Let's unpack the story that's now dominating global headlines, the Gaza flotilla incident. The Global Summit Flotilla, summit meaning steadfastness in Arabic, set sail late September 2025. It wasn't just one ship, it was a fleet of over 40 vessels carrying nearly 500 passengers from more than 40 countries. You had activists, lawyers, doctors, clergy, and even journalists. Their mission? Impossible, yes, but very meaningful. To deliver humanitarian aid, things like baby formula, food parcels, and medical supplies directly to Gaza, and to challenge what they call an illegal blockade. On board one of those ships were 3 South Africans, including Mandla Mandela. In the early hours of October 1st, the mission took a dark turn. Israeli naval forces, including commandos from the elite Shahed 13 unit, intercepted the flotilla in international waters off the eastern Mediterranean. According to the Israel Defense Forces, the flotilla was attempting to illegally breach a lawful security blockade, quote unquote. They claim no significant aid was found on board and called the mission a provocative under humanitarian disguise, quote unquote. But eyewitnesses, including journalists on board, tell a different story. They describe heavily armed commandos boarding vessels, confiscating phones and cameras, and detaining unarmed passengers. Video clips live streamed from the flotilla show chaos, shouting, flashlights cutting through darkness, and activists holding up signs that read, "Let Gaza live." By sunrise, the ships had been seized. Dozens of passengers were reportedly taken to the port of Ashdod and then transferred to a high-security facility in Israel's Negev desert. Among them, environmentalist Greta Thunberg and Mandla Mandela. And back in Pretoria, the news broke like a thunderclap. The South African government immediately demanded Mandela's release, calling the interception a violation of international law and an act of aggression against humanitarian workers. The Nelson Mandela Foundation issued a statement condemning the abduction of the flotilla participant and urging global action. The grandson of Nelson Mandela, detained by a state accused by some of enforcing apartheid-like policies. The symbol was impossible to ignore. By Saturday, Israel had deported 137 participants, most of them to Istanbul, including activists from the US, UK, Italy, Libya, and Algeria. However, no South Africans had yet been released. Reports also emerged of detainees beginning a hunger strike in protest of their treatment. Israel denies any mistreatment, calling such claims false propaganda. A government spokesperson told Reuters that all detainees were being treated in accordance with international standards. But human rights groups, including Amnesty International, are calling for independent access to the prisoners. This incident didn't come out of nowhere. In 2024, South Africa took Israel to the International Court of Justice, accusing it of genocide in Gaza. That case is still ongoing, and it's one of the most significant legal confrontations in modern diplomacy. For now, Israel says all remaining detainees, including Mandela, will be processed and deported. But no timeline has been confirmed. Meanwhile, the flotilla's organizers say they plan to take their case to the UN and maritime courts, arguing that the raid in international waters violated humanitarian and maritime law. So, what do you think? Don't forget to subscribe as we bring you matters that matter.